There is a question that has quietly haunted serious Bible readers for 2,000 years. Why didn't he just say it plainly? Think about it for a moment. Jesus of Nazareth, the Son of God, the one who spoke the universe into existence, chose to spend a significant portion of his ministry telling stories about farmers and lost coins and wayward sons and wedding banquets. He could have stood up and delivered a systematic theology. He could have written it all down in precise doctrinal statements. Instead, he told stories, and not just any stories, stories that confused people, stories that left crowds scratching their heads, stories that even his own disciples had to ask him to explain afterward. So the question is real. Why? Today, we are going to do something that most Bible studies never attempt. We are not going to look at one parable. We are going to look at all of them. Every parable Jesus told, laid out together, examined as a whole. And when we do, a map appears, a pattern that has been hiding in plain sight for centuries, a hidden architecture that changes the way you read every single one of these stories. By the end of this video, you will never read another parable the same way again. Let us begin with the most basic question. What is a parable? The word comes from the Greek word parabole, which means to place beside. A parable is a story placed beside a truth so that the truth can be seen more clearly. It is not simply an illustration. It is not a moral fable. A parable is a precision instrument. Jesus used it intentionally, strategically, and with a specific goal in mind. In the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 13, verse 10, the disciples came to Jesus and asked him directly, "Why do you speak to the people in parables?" His answer is one of the most striking things he ever said. He told them that it was given to them to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to the crowds, it had not been given. The parables, he explained, were simultaneously revealing and concealing. For those who had eyes to see and ears to hear, the story opened a door. For those who did not, it remained just a story. That is the first key to the map. The parables are not simple Sunday school illustrations. They are encrypted messages about the nature of a kingdom that was breaking into the world in ways nobody expected. Now, here is what most people miss. When you read the parables one at a time, in isolation, you see individual truths. The prodigal son is about forgiveness. The good Samaritan is about love your neighbor. The 10 talents is about using your gifts. These are not wrong readings, but they are partial readings, like looking at individual tiles of a mosaic without ever stepping back to see the full image. When you step back, 4 great themes emerge, 4 clusters, 4 corners of a map that Jesus was drawing, parable by parable, across his entire ministry. The first cluster is what we might call the kingdom parables. These are the parables that describe what the kingdom of God actually looks like, because it looks nothing like what people expected. In the Gospel of Matthew chapter 13, Jesus gives us a rapid sequence of kingdom parables that are meant to be read together. He starts with the parable of the sower. A farmer goes out and scatters seed. Some falls on hard ground and is eaten by birds. Some falls on rocky soil and springs up quickly, but withers. Some falls among thorns and is choked. But some falls on good soil and produces a harvest of 30, 60, even 100 times what was planted. Most readers think this parable is about different types of people. And it is, but it is also about something deeper. It is about the nature of the kingdom itself. The kingdom of God enters the world the same way a seed enters the ground, quietly, without spectacle, without fanfare, it goes into the dirt and disappears. And then, from that hidden place, something extraordinary grows. This is not what first century Jews expected from the kingdom of God. They expected a warrior king, a political revolution, an army. They expected the kingdom to arrive the way a thunderstorm arrives, with power you cannot ignore. Jesus said, no, it arrives the way a seed arrives, small, hidden, patient. He follows this immediately with the parable of the mustard seed in Matthew chapter 13, verse 31. The kingdom of heaven, he says, is like a mustard seed, which is the smallest of all seeds. Yet when it grows, it becomes the largest of garden plants and becomes a tree, so that the birds come and perch in its branches. And then the parable of the yeast in verse 33. The kingdom is like yeast that a woman mixed into about 60 pounds of flour until it worked all the way through. Do you see the pattern? Tiny, hidden, transformative from the inside out. This is the consistent image Jesus is painting. The kingdom of God does not conquer by force. It